Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. During the last part, I covered 5 viewer submitted levels, so in this part I'll be covering at least 4 or 5 more viewer submitted levels, starting out with this one. Os for Cantos da Floresta, Hard, by Lipatio Tree, with 22 plays and a score of 4. This translates to English as The Four Corners of the Forest. As always, if you want one of our levels to be featured in a future part like this one, please leave both the level name and level ID either in the comments section below or direct message me on Twitter. Also, as always, the full disclaimer in this entire LP series is linked in the description below. Also in the description are the timestamps for all the levels I cover in these parts, so if you want to check out our levels covered, expand the description. And as the name implies, we need to explore the 4 corners of this forest. In this case, first the left, upper and right one before I can go to the bottom portion. Let's start from the left. And I see we're forced to play as Mega Man here. We do start with full weapon and life energy though, and I see we'll be unlocking new special weapons along the way. Hopefully this level doesn't become too difficult. If only I can drop it when this platform disappears. And that happened, wonderful. That's why I wanted to drop it there. Oh well, the first of many deaths to occur. And the checkpoint was only a few screens away anyway, so not much of a major loss. That way I can just damage boost through it with no risks. And the checkpoint placement was rather generous. Well, okay then. But I guess it means that the future challenges are going to get more and more difficult. That's usually how these isolated challenges work. Well, okay then, it decided not to jump up until I completely jumped over it there. Nonetheless, I gained access to the Hyper Bomb here. And I guess this is the halfway point of the left pathway. And now 3 different colored gyres. Thank you, damage boosting. And now this Magfly. Oh boy, we're gonna have one of these segments, I see. And that's it. That was the last segment. Not as difficult as I expected it to be. Now onto the upper pathway, where we play as Proto Man here, who has access to the Proto Strike, but I think he takes double damage in exchange. That's just a hunch though. And I suppose on the right pathway we'll be playing as Bass, following the trend. Oh, I see what they want me to do here. I'll just damage boost through it instead. I mean, there's a checkpoint right over here and a full refill. And now we have the Cyber Gabioles, or rather the Chainsaw Gabioles, which you can't slow down, but I can destroy using the Hyper Bomb. This stage is rather generous in terms of its refills. And now we have an ice segment here. You know, considering we're playing as Proto Man, those Skeleton Joes are no problem. Specifically for killing them. And now we gain access to the Super Arrow. I should have expected that would happen. And there was no checkpoint over there, so I'm sent back over here. The one with all the Gabioles, of course. But it's a minor challenge overall because I have access to the Hyper Bomb. If I didn't have access to the Hyper Bomb already, it'd be more of a challenge. That wasn't too bad actually, it was just me screwing up. And that was it. In some ways, this was easier than the Mega Man path. So now we're moving on to the base pathway. I suppose the final pathway, the bottom one, will have a choice between playing as Mega Man, Base, or Proto Man. Oh boy, one of these segments I see. That was a neat little challenge, I will give it that. Now we need to follow this rolling drill to the right. And now we have a super laggy room because of all these gyries. Because I took the Proto Man route first, I can just use the Super Arrow to skip past all of this. Okay then. Same with this rolling drill over here. This would normally be a rather difficult rolling drill segment, and I ended up dying here where you need to dash jump off of all the rolling drills. But because I took the Proto Man route first, I can easily just circumvent it. Now I know in advance there's going to be one of those rolling drills up there. But remember, if I did this route before I did the Proto Man route, I'd have to do it the hard way. Still, that was a neat challenge room. I'm liking all the different types of challenges that we have present in the stage. The left route focused more on some more precision challenges, the top one more on the fan fiends and sliding off the gyres, the right one taking advantage of Bass's double jumping and dashing abilities. So on to the lower route. And I was right, we have access to playing as either Mega Man, Proto Man, or Bass here. Let's play the rest of the stage as Bass, why not? Another one of these rolling drill riding segments. Of course, I could easily just circumvent it by using the super arrow, but I'd rather not. And I know it's a bit easier than the base one, and I ended up dying here anyway because of that enemy. Whoops. The bounders, I mean. I know it's easier than the base route, but it's easier because the other two characters don't have as much mobility. And I ended up dying there because I forgot about the bounders. Wonderful. You know what, let's finish the stage as Proto Man. And I just realized Proto Man doesn't actually take double damage, so that's gonna be useful. The only issues are going to be the enemies just above me, specifically the bounders. And I realized that I was standing too close to the edge of the platform. I thought I wouldn't get knocked off there, but apparently I did. I'm making this segment look a lot harder than it actually is. Overall, this stage wasn't on the difficult side, I'd say. It was on the intermediate difficulty, personally speaking. Take 5 of this challenge, I guess. And that's how we're actually supposed to do it. Okay, forced to use super arrow here unless we're playing as Bass. And now suddenly we have quicksand. And we have the Proto Jet, or the Rush Jet, or the Treble Boost. So basically a shmup segment. We have full refills on the left, of course. Hopefully I don't crash the game like the last time I had one of these segments of rolling drills. There may have been a secret at the top right though, but I won't go for it. And this is probably the boss's weakness as well. Overall, a pretty good stage, a pretty good fortress level. 615 or 7 out of 10 based on my first impressions. Do we get different bosses if we play as different characters though? I think we do. I'll double check once I defeat Plant Man this way. Because I know one of Lipatio's previous stages with all multiple characters did do something different. It did do something similar like this. I knew I could have defeated the boss over there, but I was just fooling around a bit with those one ads. A bit more difficult than the usual boss arena, I'll say that. And I was right, each arena has a different boss fight and a different set of enemies too. So let's see what the base boss arena is. Oh goody, we have all these rolling drills. And of course, we're going to be fighting Chargeman with all these rolling drills above here. And they're not going to affect Chargeman because of course, he doesn't jump around. He does take critical damage from the Power Stone, much more in comparison to, for example, Ringman. So that was the end of the 4 corners of the forest. So I'll definitely give this stage a thumbs up. Good work, Lipatio, 7 out of 10. Second level on the lineup is Abyss by Leezy, with 14 plays and a score -2. And it's going to be a shorter one judging by the loading time, probably around 20 screens long. And we start with no special weapons, so we're going to be unlocking new special weapons along the way, starting with the Mega Buster. Here we gain access to the first special weapon, the Ice Slasher, as well as the first checkpoint. And here we gain access to the Perfect Freeze, which works wonders against this cluster of 4 enemies here. I'm always worried about these types of jumps, but thankfully there's a checkpoint right over here. And here we gain access to the Rush Coil. That Skeleton Joe down over there is throwing the bones really far and really fast. Damage boosting through this segment just for safety. We gain access to the Charge Kick right over here. Let's deal with this hot dog first before getting access to that key. Does that pit down there lead to something? Probably not, judging by this route. Easy way of bypassing that challenge. Do I have to drop down over here or go to the left? Well, I guess we go to the left. It's not really clear though. And there's a checkpoint right over here. Let me do a quick reset over here just to be safe, and see where that upper door leads to. It leads to the time slow. I suppose that will be useful in a later part of the level. Oh, this is where it's going to be useful. And I forgot to jump off the spinning top there. Whoops, I didn't gain access to the firestorm over there. That's going to make this falling boss fight a bit more difficult, but I can survive it, I hope. I mean, I have access to the time slow. Never mind, Napalm Man's weakness here is actually the Ice Slasher. And I end up getting killed anyway, but I do have one more attempt here, and there was no checkpoint there. Wonderful. You should have put a checkpoint just before the boss fight there. It's standard Mega Man design. And I got shut into the screen over there. Wonderful. A combination of the engine issues and the level design issues is really bringing down the stage for me. I mean, seriously, why do I keep getting shunted over there? So let's try this segment again. This time, try getting access to the firestorm. On second thoughts, I think I'll just skip past it. At least there's a full refill right over here, just for the boss fight. But still, there should have been a checkpoint. And that's kind of a cheap shot by that pothead over there. And that's that. That's the end of this level. It wasn't the best design level, I'd say. There should have been a checkpoint just before the boss fight, and some of the placements could be a bit off. Plus, in a few sections, it was a little bit confusing of what path I was supposed to go to next, and if I chose incorrectly, I'd just fall down a pit. So overall, I really can't give the stage a thumbs up. Plus, the engine issues also brought down the stage for me, like I kept getting clipped into that hot dog, and there were some button registration issues. Probably a 4 out of 10 currently. Third level on the lineup is DDN-001 Cairngorm Man by Dravitch, with 44 plays and a score of 11. I am probably horribly butchering the name of this Roadmaster here. We only have access to Mega Buster here, so I suppose this will be a traditional level, or a fortress stage. Based off of this intro, I think it's going to be a traditional level, well, based off the intro and the name of the stage. Nice introduction of the metals as well as the cannons. This stage already feels a bit better and more focused in comparison to the previous level. That one didn't really feel like it had as cohesive focus at this stage. And I see you're being introduced to the rolling drills a bit early. Good checkpoint placement. More generous than the usual ones, but it works. The Crystal Joes were also introduced in a safe environment very well. Now we need to jump on top of these rolling drills as makeshift platforms. Nice place to introduce this gimmick. Good checkpoint placement. And now, following up on this gimmick, we need to follow around this rolling drill and use the probably future rolling drills as platforms as well. Yeah, I was right. We need to jump on top of each one of these. Didn't slide jump far enough. So I see we're building off of the previous gimmick introduction. So nice escalation of challenges. And we're combining the previous usage of enemies, those being the cannons and metals. You know, in comparison to all the other enemies in this stage, the metals were easily the most dangerous, especially in this final segment. And that's the end of the stage. You know, I can actually insta-give Crystal Man if he stayed over there, but I can't, unfortunately. I almost got shots off twice, but Mega Man Maker didn't accept my movement inputs or jump inputs, so I wasn't able to aim them properly. Overall, a pretty pleasant stage. It had the appropriate length of a traditional level, maybe just 4 or 5 screens longer, and had a nice set of challenges focusing on the rolling drill, and I liked how the rolling drill challenges were introduced in a pretty good environment. First, in a safe place to understand how they work, how they chew to an environment, how you need to chase after them, and in third iteration you have to use them in platforms, and the fourth one combines all the introduction of all the previous enemies, combined with the fact you need to chase after the rolling drills, and jump on top of them as platforms. So nice escalation and recombination of gimmicks at the end. I will give it a thumbs up, 7.5 out of 10, currently my favorite level of the part. Good work, Dravitch. Fourth and final level of the part is Shrine of Strong Winds by Buster, with 16 plays and a score of 4. Knowing the difficulty of Buster's previous levels, I will be mostly silent throughout this stage, giving my final thoughts once I complete the level. And that's the end of the stage. Gosh, that final segment resulted in a lot of deaths. Over 80% of them were due to the engine issues. I kept clipping into one of the sliding paths and falling off screen, or my slide inputs didn't work. And there was one previous segment as well where that happened, where I needed to follow around one of the things and make some of the jumps, specifically the gyro block segment where the fan fiends were pushing me to the left. I died 24 times off screen, and most of the deaths were due to engine issues not registering when I wanted to jump or when wanting to slide. That's the main thing that really brought down the stage for me. It provides a very good challenge. I'd only recommend it for intermediate to somewhat advanced Mega Man Maker players, but boy, the stage's functionality score, if I were to grade it, that's the one that really brought it down for me and destroyed the fun, or at least diminished the fun heavily for me. The engine, not really your own level design, Buster. That's why I'm always kind of worried you're playing your levels, Buster, more so due to the engine trying to wreak havoc on my fun more than your own level design. So my apologies. So overall, out of the 4 levels I played in this part, my favorite level would definitely be Cairngorm Man by Dravitch, with an honorable mention going to Os for Cantos da Floresta, aka The Four Corners of the Forest by Lipatio tree. So in the next part, I'll be covering several more via submitted levels. Well then, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Toodles!